Hey everybody, welcome to season 24 of Spine Chill. We've been trying to get this thing started for a couple minutes now, it just hasn't worked. I'm one of your co-hosts, John Wolfe, here with my other co-host, Gary the Hot Cross.
Hello.
And our 25-time recurring guest, Doug Running Man.
Hello.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Awesome.
People are going to think I'm Gary. If you guys are audio only, that was me that said that, not Gary, just now.
This is confusing
Gary,
now. I don't know how to get out of this.
Gary, what shirt are you wearing?
Oh, I'm wearing my Lady Dimitrescu t-shirt.
Oh my god, I'm wearing the same shirt. I'm wearing the same shirt. We did not plan this at all.
Co-MVPs.
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Get out of my head.
Doug, what shirt are you wearing?
Doug, what shirt are you wearing?
Oh.
Lame, boring, nerd.
No, this is how we can tell who is a co-host.
Oh, this is the co-host shirt.
Yeah,
This is our uniform.
You guys must have called ahead and set this up to make me look bad, and yeah, I salute you for that. It's pretty solid.
I kind of wish that we had. But
No, yeah. I put it on just because Resident Evil 4 just came out, and I was like, what should I wear for the podcast today?
That's exactly why I wore it.
Get out of my head, co-MVP.
I was in my closet and I was like, Resident Evil shirt. That would be fitting for today.
Oh god.
Oh my god. Okay, well,
I'm so happy.
Yeah, that was a great way to start off. Sorry, audio only audience, by the way. You didn't get the shirt gag, but we're wearing the same shirt. You'll just have to trust us.
Yeah. And we both look dashing in them.
Wouldn't it be funny if if there was no video component to this podcast and we just lied?
Oh, let's just turn that off.
Yeah.
Let's turn the cameras off during that part.
Right, yeah. Let's all turn our cameras off. Oh my god, we're all wearing the same shirt.
What are the odds?
What are the odds? All right, cameras back on. We changed out of shirts. We couldn't be wearing the same shirt. We've got a lot of DBD to talk about today, unfortunately.
Did something happen?
Yeah, it did. And the thing is, we went from an entire episode of the game that will not be named, but even we can't ignore the absolute dumpster fire that the last week has been for Dead by Daylight. So we have to talk about it.
I've taken some notes. There is some big W's going on from what I can see.
Some W's. All right.
I mean, looking forward to this.
There's a couple.
So we'll probably just avoid, we don't really have much to talk about. I mean, if you listen to last week's, basically the ASYM world is unchanged outside of DBD at this point. No new patches for Evil Dead, no anomaly for VHS, no random updates for Prop Night.
I would like to talk about Prop Night maybe next week, though. Maybe next week.
We've been playing it a lot lately, so I would love to dig in and talk more about it for sure.
Now that I'm really starting to understand the meta and the way the game plays, I'd like, Yeah,
definitely.
Right. Dead by Daylight.
Right.
Now, for those of you who don't know, that is an asymmetrical horror game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not well known. One of the more obscure ones.
It's becoming more and more obscure.
Well, yeah, so I guess the first thing we should talk about is, the DDoS situation that's been happening. And it's been happening for a year and a half, but it just resurfaced, reared its ugly head once again.
Well, I can see Doug shaking in his head, and I'm going to have to agree with Doug's shaking head right now, John. We have got an update from Behavior themselves.
Right.
And I can...
on the DDoS situation, right?
Yeah. I've got a
that's
direct
building
tweet.
Up
right?
to.
Yeah. You ready, everyone?
Let me make some predictions. Can I make some predictions for the...
Have you not heard it, John?
No, I haven't.
Oh, this is exciting. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is great.
Yeah. So I'm going to predict that they're going to take full responsibility for it. They're going to outline a plan and a solution, and they've got people working on it right now, and it's already been fixed, and it's safe to stream on now.
Oh, why even read the tweet out at this point, John? You've nailed it. I'll read it anyway, just in case I've missed something there.
Right.
We have thoroughly investigated these reports over the past week. As of yet, there is no evidence we've seen to suggest any personal IP addresses have been leaked. Many of the reports we have received correlate to a crash, which has since been fixed in our last update. Oh, I've misunderstood this.
Wait, that doesn't sound like full responsibility at all.
No, it doesn't. It sounds like just denying that it exists.
It sounds like attempting to avoid a lawsuit, maybe.
What do you think, Doug? Fog Whisperer Doug.
Sounds like the DDoSes were fake. We're fine. We're safe. That's what it sounds like to me. I'm back on Steam,
Case
bro.
closed. They said themselves there's no evidence.
Yeah, so essentially what it boils down to is they're saying that they don't have any evidence that IPs were leaked. And they're saying that it correlates with game crashes, as far as reports go. And so I guess all of the content creators who have been repeatedly and ruthlessly denied access to their entire internet is a coincidence, or is
well, it makes sense, doesn't it? Because
Yeah.
we've all experienced games crashing and it taking down our internet. Hang on, no, I said that out loud and it doesn't sound right at all, does it?
No,
I mean,
actually,
every time Dead by Daylight crashes for me, it's weird. I'll get somebody in my chat that says something like, "Another one's coming, 3, 2, 1," and then it crashes again, takes my Steam, my stream offline.
That must be a Steam issue.
Yeah, I think so. That's just the game crashing. So I don't know how it does it though. It creates like a Twitch account. It goes in there and it says when it's going to happen again.
An advanced bug.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, there was Scott Jund was doing open lobbies on his stream at one point recently, and he got his VPN and his IP changed during the last wave of DDoSes, right? So I think his IP was protected. And 14 people in a row that were in his stream playing with him on Swift had their internet completely shut off.
I am almost 100% certain that it's old peer-to-peer code in their scripts. It just makes the most sense that if you're online in Dead by Daylight and they have any kind of connection to your Steam account in any way or form, they can if they can find you because they've got that data, they can latch onto anyone who's connected with you. It makes sense to me. But they can't fix it because it's probably tied to how Ruin works. It's probably tied to how Deliverance works. It's probably all tied together in some weird little bow so that they may have even found the problem, been like, well, we can't fucking fix this. We'd have to.
That's going to remove Felix from the game. We can't do that.
Yeah, to fix this, we'd have to pay coders to actually go in and fix it. And we haven't got any money. We're too busy making, I don't know, a film. So
I guess Craig has a backstory for
Gary's created a whole.
It just frustrates me because it just frustrates me because there shouldn't be a problem if you're a professional company and your code is object orientated and you have something like this happens, you should be able to say no, that's not happening, or yes, and we fixed it. The fact that they tweeted out being like, woo, and now they're tweeting out going, we think it's tied to a crash and that's why everyone's internet was dying. It's like, well, you don't know, and you're just throwing shit at the wall hoping what sticks. I have students do that and they don't do their fucking homework.
Okay, so counterpoint to what Gary's saying, and what I think is the most likely explanation is perhaps there isn't a current vulnerability and the IP addresses that they're using, maybe the ones they're using that are more prominent content creators, ones they had already obtained in the past, because we know, I mean, for a fact, there was a list. I was on the list. I saw the list. I showed you guys, I think, the list. And my IP was there. My IP is very easy to change, so it makes sense that I wouldn't be still targeted because my IP since then has probably changed 4 or 5 times.
Right.
I think it's potentially that they had the old IP addresses still, and people that didn't VPN in time were still being targeted. But I don't know if we ever really know for a fact, because again,
right.
Well, I mean,
if that was the case, behavior could just say that.
I just don't think they know, and I don't think that they're gonna know. And then again, for them to say that now would be admitting culpability in the last IP leak, which they never have actually done.
Yeah,
that's true. They just stopped talking about it, didn't they?
Yeah,
they did. Yes, and everybody just kind of moved on and lost interest, including thankfully the people that were doing the DDoSing. So I've actually had the same theory as you, Doug, that like a lot of this stuff that's happening is left over from the previous round around the artist release. But then situations like what you just described with Scott Jund wouldn't be possible, right? Because he was in custom games with people just like randos, right?
Yeah, but maybe, I mean, they could have just gone out and like blanket got IPs for a ton of people too, right? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
The thing about it is I think speculating on it is kind of is maybe not a waste of time, but it's a fruitless effort because we don't really know.
I will agree But for me, I think it shines a bright light on behavior's lack of communication about these situations, and they didn't communicate the last time this was definitely happening. So even if this is leftover, the fact they didn't address it in any way or form, and they're all just sat here in a mystery world not knowing, that's a problem. Right. They could discuss this and solve this problem. Put my mind at ease. I haven't played since the situation, because I don't know what's safe. If they could just tell me that it's safe and it's all old bollocks.
Yeah, I mean,
that's fine.
Like I've played with a VPN on like 24/7 since it happened like a year and a half ago, because they never addressed it, because they never came out, and I was frustrated by it at the time. And even when everyone else was like, I turned my VPN off, I was like, well, I'm gonna keep it on, because they never said anything about it. And then of course this pops up, and it's like, well, I'm glad I had it on that whole time. Holy crap, you know. But that's me. It took me like we talked about before, like a couple weeks to get my IP changed last time. So, yeah, like I get that I was in a more unique situation, but still frustrating for sure. Frustrating.
Yeah. So I guess the part that really sucks, we can't really put a fork in the story because we don't actually know. And again, I wanna honestly say, you know, there's a good chance that it could have been blown sort of out of proportion too, like in a lot of ways. Like it's possible.
Oh, definitely, because like DBD Twitter, for example, we're all in that circle. We see it's streamers.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, how many people have you guys seen that have like that are playing Killer and they have 5 people in their Twitch chat and they're like, this has got to be a stream sniper, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, so if somebody's internet has a hiccup, I mean, I've been having internet issues for the last like 4 years, and I'm not calling DDoS every single time my internet crashes. So, I don't know.
Right. Well, and also there's some people. There's been a lot of panic of people being like, it goes through VPNs, and I'm like, that's impossible.
Yeah.
And every time, I mean, I've seen so many claims of that, and every time I like look into it a little more, I'm like, I think you just got hit off of the IP that they already had, and then when you turn your VPN on, it doesn't do anything, obviously.
Yeah, and another thing that got me frustrated was there was, you know, a fairly prominent member of the DBD community that confirmed that Epic Games was at risk. And as of this recording on March 25th, and I talk to a lot of DBD streamers, I'm very connected to the DBD community. I have not had one confirmed case of a person on Epic Games being attacked with a DDoS.
Right. Same.
So if that's confirmed, I'd love to see the receipts on that.
But if what annoys me is I wish behavior would find out what is going on in some way or form. And if Epic is the safe route, for me, they should maybe just make that free to play for a bit until they solve the problem.
Well, and this is unfortunately, you know, I haven't played DBD since this whole thing resurfaced, but unfortunately, they don't have like cross progression or anything yet. Because
on Epic, you can connect your account up.
You can?
Yeah, you can merge it.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so if you get on Epic, you can.
So you just can't do that for console then?
No.
Okay. But you can merge from Steam to Epic.
You can merge Epic and Steam, and it has cross progression. Like I played last week when I streamed DBD, I streamed on Epic up until Friday. I streamed on Epic every day.
Because I missed DBD, and I'm probably going to play it sometime soon.
Yeah.
But so I'm going to have to get on Epic. But it's frustrating for me that I'm going to have to spend money because of their fuck up.
Right. Yeah, because I would still like to play DBD every now and then, and if I'm gonna like, I'll wait until they address the DDoS issue, then I'm gonna be waiting forever. I think. Yeah. So
because I don't think they're gonna address it.
I don't think they'll talk about it again. If I'm being honest,
No,
I think
me neither.
Unless it starts happening high. And again, one thing I did hear in the DBD Twit universe was like, well, now that they've said that it's not a real thing, it's only gonna make the hackers double down and get harder on it. But like, I haven't heard of anybody being DDoS since. So.
Well,
that's not true. No, I've seen there has been some streamers that are still getting hit.
Yeah, but it's why would it make them do it more?
Oh yeah. Well, it depends what they're doing it for. If they're trying to like, I don't know, if they're a really dedicated VHS fan and they're determined to let VHS win, they're gonna kill Dead by Daylight. Maybe that's what drives them. I don't know.
I mean, I can see the logic. I can see the logic of if their whole goal was to discredit and embarrass behavior. When they say there's not an issue, then you double down, triple down to make it look real. Because that looks really bad. I'll tell you now that if they come out with this tweet, they said the tweet, and then I decided to play DBD on Steam, and myself and Spooky Loops, we Swift on Steam on Friday, and we had a conversation about it. And he was like, "No, behavior says we're good. Let's go. Let's do Steam." And we did that, and we didn't get hit. But if we had gotten hit, that would have made them look real bad. I feel like if we decided we decided that we were going to take their word for it. We took their word for it, and so far we haven't had any issues. So,
I mean, I would buy their line if they hadn't said something weird about the crash. Many of the reports we've received correlate to a crash.
Yeah.
That line makes me go, you don't know what you're talking about then. You're just having a guess.
No, Gary, because I think what's happening is the game's got, 40,000 concurrent players consistently all the time, 24 hours a day. Of all those people, you got to think a percentage of them are just going to have, most of them in the U.S. are going to have consistent internet ISP issues. So
but then
basically anybody who crashes is gonna report it and be like, oh, there's a DDoS.
But on Twitter, they're just responding to streamers, aren't they? That was a tweet for streamers that are complaining about it. I don't think that was to the wider player base.
But I think that's when they say their reports correlate with game crashes. They're probably talking about across the entire player base.
They might be talking about data though. You know how behavior like to look at data.
Yeah.
I imagine the only reason that they said that was to be like, we haven't seen any evidence of IP leaks. The only evidence that we've seen of DDoSing has been from these reports, which we figured were just crashes, like through the report system. So it's very carefully worded to be like kind of confusing.
But that's what I don't want. I don't want them to be confusing. Just tell me it's not happening.
Right.
Tell me it is happening. Give me a definitive. You should be able to look for your code and tell me it's not happening.
Yeah.
There we go. We investigated it. There is 0% chance that this is happening. There is nothing in our code that would allow this. Done.
Yeah, but them like admitting that there's a vulnerability that they can't figure out the solution to seems like that would be grounds for like.
Yeah, but if they go through their
trouble.
code and go, there's not a problem, they would go, this must be like left over from like a past problem that could have happened from something else. We don't know. IPs are out there. But it's nothing to do with our game. We can see nothing in our code. There's nothing. I'd feel better. But they didn't.
Well,
they went.
Right.
So what did they do?
Well, it doesn't look like it.
That's why I'm. That's what I'm saying.
So,
is I think they're saying they're not giving an actual response to anyone. They're making like a PR statement that's going to keep them safe for now, because there's a problem that they haven't fixed. But they had public pressure to say something. So what they said was, there might be a problem. We don't know. And, until we figure out what the problem is, and we can't fix it because there doesn't seem to be a problem.
And that scares me.
So what they did instead, though, they made a PR report or a PR post, right? Said, hey,
right.
we aren't finding anything, so you're probably fine. But surely what they did next is follow that up by taking a look at a beaten, downtrodden, exhausted player base and said, we've got some great changes coming that are going to reinvigorate the player base and really bring the fun back to Dead by Daylight, right? That's what they did, right?
The fun return.
The Foon. Foon is here. That's
what they did, right? Right, Gary? You've got the notes in front of you, right? They announced a bunch of great changes that are going to bring the Foon back.
Well, then, let's start talking about it then. Okay, so the first thing, the blood web improvements. I know, Doug, you're a big fan of these. I've seen your tweets.
Yeah.
So, in a nutshell, you're going to be able to, in a somewhat way, auto-purchase pages of the blood web, which theoretically will speed it up.
Mm-hmm.
But in practice, it looks like, at least for PC, it's going to save you, I think, Doug, you suggested it was like 2 seconds.
I mean, that's pulling a number out of my...
Yeah.
Out of thin air. It's a few seconds per web. It's not going to save a substantial amount of time when you have to spend $2 million on reset day.
But it is going to save a lot of time for console players that have to spend a significant amount of time trying to buy blood, spend their blood points. So,
I made a tweet being critical of this change. And I was attacked on Twitter, which of course I'm not one of the types that's like, oh god, everybody's so mean on Twitter. But I was attacked, and I did roll my DMs, and I did roll my eyes because like there, and this is like a greater conversation about DBD Twitter as a whole,
which we could talk about today.
We could maybe if we have the time. The overreaction, like, to the fact that I was critical of something, and I wasn't critical in an aggressive way or like I didn't attack behavior. I just was critical because, again, the key issue, which is that spending blood points takes a substantial amount of time away from playing the video game. was not addressed on PC. And yes, I'm not saying it's a bad change. I'm not saying that it's not good for console. I'm happy for the console player base. I'm appreciative of there being something, but it's not enough. And the answer shouldn't be difficult. It shouldn't be hard to make that process quicker. That process is instant on DVD mobile.
Right.
It's so fast, right? You can do an auto buy on DVD mobile already. And so again, I know they're different games, they're coded differently. My point is like, I'm not a game coder.
Properly, by the sounds of things.
I'm not a game coder. I'm not a nerd, but I do know that if they're able to code it to do it automatically, there's got to be in somewhere in the realms of zeros and ones a way that they can make that go quicker. Because that's all you have to do is just make it an instant.
Oh yeah, like the animation and stuff of it purchasing things. I mean, I would assume that's tied to a variable. They'll have an integer tied to it, so they can just make it a lot faster.
Right. But yeah, so basically,
like,
my
set to a
tweet,
speed of 1, make it set to a speed of 10. Done.
My tweet was just a shitpost making fun of it for being slow, because it's just basically a poke fun at the idea that the change we want is faster blood webs, and they made easier, but not necessarily that much faster blood webs. And then people were so annoying, like, oh, every time they do anything, you gotta criticize. It's like, if you don't mention the thing, like, you don't mention the problems with it, how are they going to know that that's not what you wanted? Do we just say, oh, thank you, and then just everybody just is okay?
Well, you're in a terrible situation, Doug, because if you criticize it, they go, oh, all you do is complain. But if you say something's good, they're like, fog whisperer, typical.
Exactly. I'm stuck.
Yeah, true.
I'm so stuck, right? But it's just silly. The changes are okay. They're welcome, but they're not enough. They don't solve the key issue.
Well,
and so that's why I was critical of it, because again, it maybe call me selfish, but like, I'm happy for my console friends who will have a much easier time spending their points, but like, it doesn't help me. And I am a customer also, and I am a user also. So I feel like I have a right to say, I would like a different thing that's better than what you said.
Yeah.
How about for all of these mid-chapter updates, we can give it a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or like a mid?
Yeah, I like that.
What do you think? So what do we think? John, do you have any thoughts about the blood web improvements?
I mean, it's better than nothing, but I would like what we've always traditionally asked for with this blood web improvement, and that's just an automatic buy, and this is far from an automatic buy.
Right. So what do we think? Thumbs up, thumbs down, mid?
I'll go mid.
I'm gonna lean mid as well. Almost for console, thumbs
it's
up.
Like
no,
mid.
The console doesn't.
Like
you can't thumbs up it for one or the other. We're talking about the entire
upturned.
player base is crossplay. Now, no, I want mine slightly turned down. Actually,
all right, okay, yeah, so I'm
slightly turned down because I'm a little cheese, John.
Mine's at like the 2 o'clock position.
Yeah, I don't know how to read a clock. I use digital, but mine's over here. Mine's over here.
You're at the 4 o'clock. Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Well, maybe this will woo you, Doug. Visual terror radius. They're going to add a system where you can see the heartbeat. So for those who have audible like impairment where the heartbeat isn't that beneficial to you, you'll have a visual indicator where you can see a heart, which will, I guess, beat as the killer becomes closer, and I think becomes more vibrant would be my guess. I mean, I haven't seen it in practice yet, but that's the general ring I got out of it.
If you use the exact system they're using on mobile, it not only does it get more intense as it gets closer, but you also get directional. And then if it's like somebody like Sadako or Trickster or Huntress who have a lullaby, you get like lullaby indicators. I'm gonna assume they're using that. That's what they're gonna use carbon copy, and that's 2 thumbs way up. And the only reasonable complaint.
You only get 1 thumb. You only get 1 thumb in this system, Doug. Just so you know.
Typical survivor, man. Trying to take away from the killer, man. You just take everything I have, all my tools. Okay, I'll give it 1 thumbs up. I'll give it 1 thumbs up then. That's all I can do.
All my tools of torment.
My tools of torment.
Oh, let's not talk about that.
Yeah, tools of torment. Sounds like the killer experience. So, thumbs up.
The survivors are the ones with the tools of torment.
Exactly.
Not anymore.
So,
well, we'll talk about that in a bit.
The only reasonable complaint that I've heard is that it's a side buff to survivors, like, because again, you don't have to rely on as much awareness. You get more But like, who cares? Because again, if there's one person, if there's one person in the entire player base who's hearing impaired, who is helped by this change, can enjoy the game, I'll take the nerf as a killer.
Yes.
Like, I think it's so gross and selfish to care more about how hard or how easy it is to 4K and DBD, so that people who are maybe not able to have the same like
experience,
they don't have the same experience as you do. Like they have a different experience, so they can enjoy it the same way. That's just, to me, it's like, I think that if you're publicly complaining about it being a survivor nurse, then you're fucking gross. Or sorry,
like
being a killer nerf, you're
like,
fucking gross.
I can understand the killer perspective. You know, it's like, it'll be like Fortnite, right? When you, because I turn on the visual thing because it helps. It's like, it's more useful to be able to get an indicator. But Doug, you're 100% right. If it helps just one person enjoy the game more, tough shit.
Get over it.
And it works. And it works with the colorblind setting, so the heart will adjust based on those settings. So for me, I'm happy too.
Yeah, that's a thumbs up. Thumbs up from all three of us. Okay. So far so good. We got one kind of meh, and then one kind of good.
Yeah.
So far, so it's all uphill from here, right?
We have a map update on the horizon.
Oh.
Auto Haven Records is getting a bit of a change, a bit of a layout change. So a couple of the things that are going to be changing is, for example, the Blood Lodge is going to be closer to the center of the map.
Different map, Gary. You got the two maps mixed up. They're doing two maps. They're doing Gas Heaven and Blood Lodge.
No. Yeah. Blood Lodge is getting. I read it. The Blood Lodge itself is being moved closer to the center of the map, and Gas Haven or Heaven, sorry, is going to have more openings in the car walls.
Okay. Yeah. I thought you had them tied together. And if we go to
no. Two separate maps.
But yeah, it's two separate maps.
Clarification. So they're going to have some updates to those maps, which is kind of exciting.
Nah.
Kind of exciting. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't really like Blood Lodge that much, so them changing it like this is fine. But I also kind of worry that I'm starting to see a pattern of them being like, we'll just take the main building and put it in the middle of the map.
That's literally what they're doing with Blood Lodge. They already confirmed it.
Yeah,
they're moving the lodge to the center, right? Yeah.
I mean, like, they're going to do that to more maps.
Oh,
like, I don't want that. Because they did that with the Area of Crows, right?
Yep.
Like, they moved it more towards the center. They're doing that with Blood Lodge. And I'm just like, don't do this with too many maps, though. Like, I want Thompson House to stay the same. You know, I want some of these with, like, off-center main buildings to stay the way they are. I don't want it to be...
because it makes maps feel different.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's fine for Blood Lodge, but I just hope that this isn't, like, a pattern.
I think the car walls I'm the most excited about, because I think that's going to be quite nice, because those are boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said, when you brought it up. Like, this is going to sound bad, but I just have, like, zero faith in the map team to do anything better than what they've done before. Like, they just, every new map that comes out is a disaster, and every rework. We haven't had a rework yet that we were like, wow, what a great rework. Like, the Haddonfield rework was a side grade, maybe a little bit better, but like...
I miss old Haddonfield.
It's good visually.
I can't believe I'm saying that, but yeah.
Yeah, visually it's good, but map-wise, ugh. RPD changes. The RPD changes, they somehow managed to make RPD like one of the worst survivor experiences in the game now, thanks to the 3-gen meta. Like
all they did was make it so not just killers hate it, survivors hate it too.
Yeah.
Now no one loves RPD. Great.
Right. It's just it just sounds harsh, but like their track record with maps right now is terrible. Area of Crows was a side grade at best. I do think as killer, it's a little easier to play on, but like not that much, not enough to make it really like a W. I don't go into Erie now and be like, oh, finally the new Erie. It's just, I don't know. So my hope in these maps being better, Gas Heaven and Blood Lodge if we're looking at problematic maps, they're way low on my list. You know, and so it's like cool. You're taking a couple maps that are like mediocre and maybe making them a little less mediocre. I don't know. I know it sounds like I have a really bad attitude because I kind of do, because the maps I think are almost
it's tough to have like a super positive outlook at the moment, because behavior's not exactly been showering us with joy.
No, and I mean I do like that they're doing stuff, they're making changes, they're listening, and they're trying. And again I credit them. And again, this update is for a mid-chapter update. They put a lot of effort into this one. Like we're gonna keep talking about it, but they made a lot of changes, and kudos to that. And you guys have heard me on the podcast talking about like, you guys need to take some risks. You guys need to do some crazy stuff. And they did that.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about why I don't know they're going in the right direction with that, but they're doing that.
Right.
I'm looking forward to that chat at the end.
But I just have a hard time. I don't want to thumbs down because we haven't seen the maps, but I'm gonna side thumb, and I'm gonna be like I'm assuming we're gonna end up here, and that sucks to say. But like when we get this chat, when we play this update, I think I'm gonna be like these reworks didn't need to happen, or they're just bad. I don't know. That's just me though.
I'm gonna put it in the middle.
Side thumb too,
because it's hard to get too excited about it.
Also,
that's how I see it playing on the map.
Also wanted to mention that in Gas Heaven, they're also moving the gas station closer to the center of the map as well.
I didn't see that. Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't say to the center of the map, but closer to the center of the map, which it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier of like, I hope they're not doing that to like all the maps.
Yeah.
You know? But we'll see what they mean by closer to the center. You know, do they mean like
Slap
8 meters or bang in the middle? Yeah.
Well.
But yeah.
Okay, how about... Okay, all right, so I don't feel like we need to get Doug smiling. We need to bring his handsome smile.
I don't know if that's going to happen for the rest of the patch notes.
Well, let's not speak too soon. Doug. Killer main Doug. Healing's changing.
Gary couldn't say that with a straight face. Yes, healing is changing. This is probably the most significant change in the patch.
It's a very core gameplay. It's very much akin to like when the generators changed to have more.
This is like all I wanted to talk about. If I'm being honest, like this is the patch to me. But go on.
They're nerfing the fuck out of healing.
That's what the patch notes just said.
Yeah, they're nerfing the hell out of it.
So healing will now take 24 seconds by default, previously 16 seconds, which is a 50% increase. And,
that's so long. 24 seconds is so long. Is self-care 32?
As of now, yeah. It's way more than that now after the changes.
And,
right.
And medkits will now only improve altruistic healing speeds. So like if you bring a medkit, you can't quickly heal yourself. You can only really use those to quickly heal teammates.
Mm-hmm.
Which is quite a big change as well. Because like Ranger med, that's the green one, isn't it? No, Ranger's purple. What was the green one called? The green one anyway. The speedy one.
Yeah, emergency medkit.
Yeah,
emergency.
That's going to be just as quick as a brown one now.
Okay, so what this change, this blanket healing change after medkits, because medkits have been overtuned for a while, especially when they gutted toolboxes, right?
Yeah.
And then flashlights are a nerf for survivors most of the time, so they're not really relevant, right? So at this point, medkits were kind of like the one issue that medkits and map offerings to me are the only two things as a killer main that I'm like, these could use some work, And so what they did with the medkit change and what they did with the healing change is they took a guy with a broken toe and they amputated his entire fucking leg off. Like, I don't understand. Like, all you had to do was just nerf medkits. And not only did you nerf medkits, but you killed Circle of Healing completely. Right, and we'll talk about that more later.
We'll talk about that.
But it all lumps. I'm sorry, but it all lumps into the healing change. You took the base healing, right, and you ramped it way up, and then you didn't change Sloppy Butcher. You didn't change the fact that you have mangled add-ons on basically every killer in the game. Like,
right, yeah. It's just that's exactly what I was thinking.
You just took a problematic item, and then you just nerfed the ever living hell out of all forms of healing on the Survivor side of the game, which is in a really tough spot right now in the meta. Like, Survivor is hard to enjoy with the 3-genning and with the night.
I have thoroughly been enjoying your tweets, Doug. They've been hilarious.
I'm having so much fun. So yeah, my most recent tweet, which got a little bit of mini DBD twit viral, I tweeted in quotation marks, and pretending as if I was an official spokesperson for behavior, that in light of the fact that people are complaining about the long matches in 3-gens, we decided to make it easier for you to die now.
Yeah.
like healing right now, it's like if you're facing a killer player who's running like Thana and Sloppy, right? And then they hit a couple people and they got somebody hooked. The time it would take to reset each other and get the unhook, that person's probably going into second phase off the first hook of the game. Like, they didn't need to make healing impossible. And I don't know why they did it. And I don't understand it. And I really have a lot of hope that we're going to try it out on the PTB and they're going to realize real quick that this isn't going to work out. Aww. Because again, there are arguments in favor of nerfing medkits, which I agree with. There are arguments in favor of nerfing Circle of Healing, which I'm not necessarily agree with, but I'm kind of neutral about. Because again, I've been saying since forever ago that Circle of Healing might be the most overblown issue in the game.
Yes.
Like it's really,
I think
it's just really
on that one.
Yeah, it's really not that big of a deal. And again, if you're listening to me right now and you're pounding your hand down on your computer desk, let's see who plays more killer and let's see who plays more hard killer matches than I do. And I don't point to Circle of Healing being an issue very often. Fast medkits stacked with healing perks, definitely a problem.
Oh yeah. And like with most things in DBD, things are usually only an issue when they're stacked on stacked on stacked with a bunch of different things.
Yeah. But yeah,
like Brian overcharge eruption, you know.
So I will I play a lot of Survivor and I play some weird builds. So you know the build, what are those perks called? Where the Leon one where you don't make sound when you're healing.
Bullet?
Bite the bullet. Taking that with like off the record and not off the record. Oh, what's the one where you don't leave scratch marks or blood?
Lucky Break.
Lucky Break, thank you.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of weeks off DBD. I can't remember any perk names. But I like taking a build like that where I get hit, I overcome, run around a corner, and I start healing quietly. That's fun. But I'm now gonna that's not gonna be viable anymore because I'm gonna sit there for 24 seconds trying to heal up. That's like I'm gonna get caught.
Right. if you are hit with Sloppy Butcher and you self-heal with self-care, what I saw on Twitter, I haven't tested it myself. What I saw on Twitter is it's an 84-second heal.
That's a generator.
A generator takes 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but one of the biggest reasons I hate playing against Legion as a solo survivor is that my teammates feel the need to consistently reset themselves. Like, the solo survivor experience, the majority of your teammates are going to be afraid to do anything injured, and they're going to constantly be resetting or looking for heals. Like, this heal change, even just the 8-second space, is a massive buff to killer.
It's going to completely wreck solo queue. If you it's just going to destroy
Absolutely,
it.
Well,
and I guarantee we'll see more legions.
Yeah, we'll see more legions.
Oh,
we'll see more Thana, Sloppy, Colophobia, Dying Light. These are all going to be meta. I was about to say,
like we'll get to the Call Brian overcharge nerf a little later, but I wouldn't be surprised if after these changes go through, if they're not adjusted, we see Colophobia, Thana, Sloppy as like the new 3-stack build.
It's like moving from one hell into a new one.
Yeah. I have another tweet.
And they'll still have that 3-gen. They'll still have their 3-gen.
Exactly, because that got addressed but not fixed. I have another tweet in the drafts where I said, survivors don't want to have to spend any more time holding M1 on gens. So we hooked you up. Now you can spend the entire game holding M1 on your teammates. You're welcome.
Exactly.
You're welcome.
Like the biggest thing, like I understand the med kit changes, but it's this base kit, like you said, Doug, base kit change from 16 to 24. It's like, that is a 50% increase. That's insane. Over the course of an average game, how many times would you say you heal? Like 3 times?
Yeah. Maybe
on
more
average.
If you're depending on what killer you're facing and depending on what your teammates are doing.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. But just on average, let's say you heal 3 times.
Saying that in the new 3-gen world, Doug, I mean, some of your games you would say you've been, I don't know, 100?
Yeah, I had another one where another 40-minute game against a Skull Merchant the other night.
Well, you had 2 40-minute games.
I did. One was a Wesker, and there was fun chases in that one, and I made fun of him a lot, so it's okay. That was okay with that game. Yeah, I was okay with that game.
Precious beans.
Yeah, but the whole thing is like, the Skull Merchant changes didn't fix her issues, and the only thing that kept us potentially able to win that game, it was the same thing as your game, John, with the Knight, where you just had to skitter back and try and get on the gen, get up. The only thing that made that possible was Circle of Healing.
Right.
The only thing that made us even remotely possible we could find a win condition was Circle of Healing. And now Circle of Healing is going to be gone, and the base healing time, even if we heal each other, is now increased. It's just...
Right.
I just feel like behavior is so detached from what the issues with the Foon in their game this
is how I feel about things. They're so focused on balancing that they're not making things fun.
Well,
like as you say, they've become very detached from what is fun in the game, and they're just trying desperately to balance it. And I don't give a shit about the game being balanced. I want it to be fun. I couldn't care less if like I've got a disadvantage when I play, a weak killer and I lose. I don't care.
But here's the
I
thing.
have fun
right?
doing it.
Here's the thing too. It's not even balanced because here's the thing. Right.
You can't
the
balance
issue
it.
because the thing is, these changes are gonna minimally affect an organized 4-man Swift because they'll be able to run Circle of Healing. They'll be able to run altruistic kits and then group up, do teamwork. They'll be in comms like, hey, meet me by Shack, we'll reset. That's all stuff that can happen. So these changes probably don't hurt that team all that much. They'll hurt it a little bit, but like it's a minor change. But for your solo queue survivors, it's a massive nerf. Because you have no coordination. Unless you're running Bond, Empathy, you're running perks that are specifically designed. The new Circle of Healing is going to be specifically designed to show auras for people that need heals. All that's fine, but that's not reasonable to ask people to do in a meta where you have to use every ounce of your energy trying to break a 3-gen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, healing shouldn't be the primary focus.
And this is actually going to like enhance 3-gen situations even more because like we were talking about like those situations where someone's camping a 3-gen with Nair Skull Merchant and they get those cheeky hits before they go and they check the other generator. Those are going to take 8 seconds more each to heal now, and that's 8 seconds more of gen regression or not getting progress on a gen,
Yeah.
And so that's going to make it's going to be adding hit and run, like more benefits for hit and run play styles with the 3-gen, which is not what the game needs at all.
No. Well, and then it's just because again, what we've been begging for on Spine Chill for months is some sort of way to reorient Dead by Daylight into a chase-focused game, but they're just trading out one anti-chase mechanic for regression, which is kicking gens in a 3-gen, for a different anti-chase regression meta, which is hit and run.
Right.
Because again, and you see this in comp DBD all the time. You're gonna go slap somebody off of a gen, they'll run away from it, and then you move on because now that guy's either got to reset, or if he decides to not reset, you're going to get him instant down next time you see him.
It becomes a game of waiting for someone to make a mistake.
Yeah.
Where they take that M1 and they don't quite get into a good position. Like the palette's been used in an already fuck up. So like it's now you can commit to get that down because it's only going to take you 5 more seconds and you can get back to your 3-gen. Like,
yeah,
it's a really dire situation, and
I just don't understand. And again, I'll go back to the analogy. It's like your car, a headlight goes out, and you're like, better get a new car. Like all they had to do was replace the headlight. Just get rid of the med kits. Just nerf the med kits.
Exactly.
Make med kits weaker, and then none of the other changes needed to happen. And what they've done instead is they've taken a player base, which I have been in this player base for a number of years. They're on the edge right now, and Survivor's never been more exhausting and more repetitive and bland than it is right now. I mean, we're looking at this meta being worse than the Legion meta at this point. And
watching you play 2 matches of DBD for an hour and a half, 2 matches, an hour and a half. Fascinating. Like I was walking away, getting lunch, coming back like 10 minutes later, and be like, "Are you still in this match?"
Yeah.
And you hadn't even scratched the surface of it. That was when the 3-gen was just beginning. You had half an hour more.
I have 12,000 hours in the game. This game is my full-time career. It's my job.
12,000 since when?
Wow.
Now imagine. Shut up, guys. Okay, but imagine for a second a dude who just got done with his shift at Whataburger, worked hard, he's an honest man making an honest living. He got held up because Tommy was late again, and so he got held up at work for an extra hour. Right? He got home. He smells like French fries. He just wants to play a couple games of his favorite game, Dead by Daylight, to just wind down before he goes to bed. He jumps in, and he gets that Wesker and that Skull Merchant back to back. Tell me why that guy's not booting up Fortnite instead. Like, tell me why that guy's not booting up a different game.
Which is free to play.
Right.
People are going to start losing. And again, I know people are like, oh, it's you always come back. But like at a certain point, it's just like a toxic relationship. You get to a certain point, you just like, you can't handle it anymore. And like that, people are going to start getting to that breaking point. I've seen more people genuinely taking breaks from DBD in the last 2 to 3 months than I've ever seen in the years prior to that.
Well,
Same.
Me and John, we haven't played it in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
At least, yeah. I played one day, the day that the Skull Merchant came out, and I don't think I've played since.
Yeah, I think I played the day after she came out, and I think that may have been my last day. And I miss DBD. I think you get to the point where you just want to play it. And then I watched Doug have 2 matches against a Wesker and a Skull Merchant for an hour and a half, and I was like, I
just don't understand
right.
it. It's like they're kicking the Survivor player base while they're down. In this meta, if this was a plan they've been working on for a while, I don't understand how someone at Behavior didn't say, let's press pause on this one. You know, maybe make a couple of these other changes, but let's press pause on the healing one for right now, because the Skull Merchant changes did not fix the issues with that killer. The Knight is not going to get fixed. Like the 3-gen meta. And again, if you want to move on to the next piece and we can talk about Overcharge and Call O'Brien getting a nerf, we can talk about that.
Well, yeah, I do think it's an interesting point, though, that I will say I thought the Skull Merchant would vanish, but I really underestimated how much people in DBD just really like winning now.
Yeah.
And she is a strong 3-genner. And the Knight hasn't gone anywhere. He's not that fun, but people love winning. So most of the time now, it's Wesker, Skull Merchant, and Knight, from what I can tell.
Well, and then the sad thing is that the Skull Merchant change...
Nurse.
The Skull Merchant change actually made her more effective at 3-genning.
Yeah.
Because now you can't use your armband to take the drones hostage. So she can just, no matter what, she can perpetually reset on the 3-gen.
Yeah. And like there's that cycle, isn't there? Because you have to wait till the armband goes away because you can't work on the generator until it has. And then it just cycles. It just continues around in circles.
Yeah.
And she gets faster the more people that do have the armbands, I guess. So.
Yeah.
So what are we thinking? Thumbs up for healing?
A thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
It's hard because it's like thumbs up for the medkit part, but thumbs like 2 thumbs down.
No. I'm not going to give it a thumbs up for like
nerfing
my ability to like heal myself with a different. Like if I bring a nice medkit, I'm going to bring toolboxes of brand new parts now.
Okay, but how many brand new parts do you have?
I have quite a lot.
Like the medkits have been overtuned for a while though.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think that they needed a change. So I like that part of it. Maybe not every single change that they implemented, but most.
But like I'm not going to bring my Mimi overcome build now because it's not good. I'll just bring Sprint Burst. That's what we'll talk about in a bit. Why that? Like it's just like it's a thing. Like there is fun ways to use these items, and now they've just been for me gutted to the point where it's like, well, what's the point in them? I'll bring a brown medkit as a free heal and then just crack on. Not that I usually bring medkits, it just still frustrates me that I won't bother now because I usually bring flashbangs, but...
Yeah, I mean...
I don't know, I agree with Doug, it's an overkill. I do think that medkits were overtuned, but this is beyond.
Well, it's just the base kit healing that I think is the real thumbs down source here for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, on the bright side... There's going to be a meta shake-up with the perks. So, was that 3 thumbs downs for that, by the way, for healing? That wasn't it?
Way.
Okay, it can only get better, surely. So they're updating some of the perks. I'm going to... Gearhead. They don't care.
No one's going to run it.
No one's going to run the new Gearhead, just like no one's running the old one.
No one's going to run Overzealous, no.
Okay, cool. We can just get onto the meat and veg then. So Pain Res is getting an adjustment.
Yes.
The perk starts with 4 tokens now. Well, it will do. The first time each survivor is hooked on a Scourge hook, the generator with the most progress will explode and lose 15% progress, which is a nerf in terms of progress it loses, right? Wasn't it more beforehand?
No, 15%
No,
is how much 15? It was before.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm not 100% sure what this means. The token thing's confused me a little bit.
So basically, the first time you hook each survivor on a Scourge hook, you're going to get the pain res, and that's it. So it's like having barbecue stacks. Like, you only get 1 pain res per survivor.
Oh.
Full stop.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that explains it much better. That sucks.
Yeah,
it's awful. So hang on. I have to not only find a fucking pain res hook, I only get to use it 4 times.
Exactly. Yeah, they're punishing
for individual survivors.
They're punishing the slowdown that forces you to chase down and hook survivors to get a value. Is what they're doing. Like again, it's ridiculous. And again,
I thought it was.
I even said, like, maybe I could see it if they took away the Scourge requirement and it was just your first 4 hooks got you the slowdown. You'd still be weak, but at least it would make sense. Now you don't even know for a fact you're going to have a Scourge hook, and if you do have one. You're only going to get value 4 times every game. You can literally kick a gen with Overcharge, Call Brian, or any combination of that infinitely. You can get, and again, there's a limit. Even if they don't limit it to 1 per survivor, you only get 12 hook states per game. So you can only use pain res in its current form maximum of 12 times.
I think I'd like it if every time you hook a different survivor.
Yeah.
To encourage you not to tunnel. That would be cool.
great.
So like,
I think that's
rather than doing tokens, just every time you hook a new survivor, you get 15% on a Scourge hook.
I love that idea because that discourages you from tunneling and then rehooking on the same Scourge hook. Full stop. Yeah, that's a great idea because you're still getting value and you're rewarding. Because I've been talking about this for months, right? You need to stop trying to punish behavior and reward good behavior rather than punish bad behavior. Like encourage people to do the right thing, which is to hook different people each time.
Yeah, that's a shame. It's a shame that like in seconds we've come up with a better idea.
Yeah, and Scourge hook is now officially dead, and we can move on. We don't have to talk about it anymore because it's just gone. It's not going to get run. It's weak. Even if you want to combo a Dead Man Switch, you're only going to get maximum 4 tries.
Yeah. Well, at least okay. That perk probably is dead. Let's talk about one that's not going to be dead. Dead Hard. So Dead Hard is getting changed. Dead Hard will activate after safely unhooking a survivor. So Dead Hard will then deactivate when it successfully protects the user from damage. So now you'll only get to use it once you've got a safe unhook. It still works the same outside of that, so it'll still be when you're injured, and you'll still get the endurance effect. But you'll only get it when you safely unhook a survivor. And then, by the way it sounds like deactivate, does that mean you only get 1 use, or is it every time you get get a safe unhook? It's not 100% clear. I think it's every time
you get a safe unhook. Because it deactivates when you use it, and then it activates after you safe unhook.
Well, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So you can recharge it.
Yeah, what I found interesting was like when they nerfed Dead Hard initially to the 0.5 second, dab at the time. I remember a lot of people being like, "Oh, it's a dead perk now," and then it disappeared for a couple of weeks, and then it just slowly come back, and now, like after how long it was the way it was, just how quickly they've reacted to nerfing it again. Quite interesting. What do we think about this change to Dead Hard?
I mean, it's just gone forever. Like it's not because what you have to have in this game is perks that you can consistently rely on, and you can't do that anymore.
It's too many conditions now.
Exactly, it's a conditional perk. Yeah. You have to get a safe unhook, which means people are going to be dive bombing hooks to get 1 Dead Hard, right? To get 1 Hell State and Chase. It's too much. And that's
it's kind of a weird lazy fix too, because I'm like, how does this fit with the lore of the perk? Because it's just like, what does unhooking have to do with anything? Like, why was that added? It doesn't make any sense.
I spoke to Masha about this, Attacker Masha, and she had quite a good idea for it, where you get incapacitated for like 2 seconds after you use Dead Hard, so you can't drop pallets. Basically, just so you can't drop pallets immediately after. You can't do a vault immediately after or whatever. Like, just you can stop using it in that kind of an aggressive way, and that does solve the problem as well. Like, the problem people were complaining about
unhook thing,
Because my issue with this new description for it is it's just a bit messy. Like, you don't want things where it's like, I'm sorry, how does it work? Because I'm confused by it. I was like, do I get just 1 use out of it? Like, because it's not so clear and cut. It's confusing, and that's bad for a user experience. Like, keep it simple. So I don't like that it's just become a very messy perk, and as Doug says, unreliable. Like,
I think you're going to see it about as often as Metal of Man now. Like, that's legitimately like because the problem is that you're taking an exhaustion perk, which is an exhaustion perk and a survivor loadout is just as staple as a slowdown perk and a killer loadout. Like, it's just everybody runs exhaustion perks because they're fun, they're good. They're ways that you can use a tool to directly impact the game. Like, it's
kind
a
of like
thing.
The exhaustion perk is kind of like your special attack. Like, you get one that you can use every now and again. Yeah, it's like Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
So I get to use my head on once in a chase. I get to use Sprint Burst once in a chase. Dead Hard once in a chase. Like, it's
yeah. So what the problem is though, again, and of course, there's a lot of killer mains out there that are there's probably literally human beings that had parties over this. They're so happy that Dead Hard's finally nerfed. And what they don't realize is that Dead Hard is still wildly inconsistent and wildly skill-based. And, anybody that says, any killer I've ever heard complain about Dead Hard not being a skill ceiling type of perk. I want to see them use Dead Hard. I want to watch them stream themselves landing sick Dead Hards because it's hard to use Dead Hard effectively. To really use it effectively.
Yeah, like, I get the frustration because like you play Nemesis or Huntress or anything like that. It's annoying to have people use Dead Hard, but I respect it every time now.
Yep. But the problem is that now what's going to happen is it's not like Dead Hard's going to go away and the game's going to get easier. Dead Hard's going to go away and then survivors are going to be running other exhaustion perks that are literally and objectively better overall perks than Dead Hard. Sprint Burst is a better perk than Dead Hard, full stop. Lithe, in most cases, is a better perk than Dead Hard, full stop. Because again, consistent and reliable are the key to winning games in Dead by Daylight. And consistent and reliable Sprint Burst and Life is 100% on you to consistently and reliably pull off.
So we'll probably see an increase in the use of Fearmonger.
Yeah, probably so.
And a lot of people use it. So at least there'll be a counter, I guess, to Sprint Burst and Life and stuff.
I guess.
But yeah, so Dead Hard, probably a dead perk as well now.
Yeah, it's going to be gone for good.
But it's not like Survivor's the only thing that have been nerfed. They may have lost healing. Good. They may have lost Dead Hard. But Call of Brine is on the cutting board. It's reduced the additional regression speed to 125% from 200%, which is quite a big nerf. So that's pretty nice. And it kind of goes hand in hand with Overcharge, which has also seen a nerf, where maximum regression speed is down to 130%, which was also 200%. And the regression speed starts at 85% rather than 75%. So that's been sped up a little bit, but...
Great.
So what do we think about that? Do we think the 3-gen situation is, ding dong, the meta's gone?
I think that the furthest we ever got a gen in that 3-gen against Skull Merchant was about 30 or 40%. So I don't think it's going to be... I think that 3-genning and stacking regression is still going to be very strong. I don't think it's enough. I think they should have just got rid of it completely. I think the regression bonus should have gone away.
I just want to point out something that drives me crazy. So Oppression is another gen kick perk. Has a cooldown.
I love Oppression.
80 seconds.
You should have no cooldown.
And it regresses at normal regression rate, and it causes 3 other generators to regress at normal regression rate. Call of Brine and Overcharge have no cooldown at all, and they have much higher regression rates. You can just kick a gen over and over and over. And I just can't understand that.
I don't understand. I just assume it's because Oppression belongs to the twins and Behavior hate the twins.
That could be it. If the overall biggest complaint in your community is being held hostage in a 3-gen, how is it possible that they looked at Scourge Pain Res and they looked at Call of Brine and Overcharge and they said, this chase-oriented perk should have a limited amount of uses, but these gen kick perks should be infinite. You should be able to do it as many times as you want. Like,
right. Pick me, I know.
Gary, please.
They don't play their fucking game. All they do is look at the numbers. A lot of people are bringing Pain Res. A lot of people are bringing Call of Brine Overcharge. We'll just change it. They don't look at why they need to change it. They don't look at why people are bringing those perks. They just adjust based on the fact that... I'm at this point, I just think there's people at Behavior that are fucking lazy. Because, I don't understand this. I know, I don't get it. It's just like no one's paying attention to the game itself. They're not paying attention to the fun factor of the game. They just look at numbers, and they just change things. It just frustrates me because I don't get it. And I don't know the ins and outs of what being a Fog Whisperer is like. But why don't they just get you guys to tell them what to do? I don't know if they do.
They ask for feedback and they feed it up the chain, but it's not a lot of direct feedback. I don't know. I just don't understand why they wouldn't just limit the uses of kicking a gen, since that's what people are doing infinitely.
They could cool down how much killers can kick a gen.
Yeah.
Right.
Token should have been on the regression, the kick regression, I think, not on the chase regression.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that idea actually.
Yeah.
Sorry, John.
Yeah, either a token system or a cooldown or something. I mean, I get that they attacked the regression because they wanted to. It says right here they wanted to like reduce the amount of situations where like the gen goes down to 0 or whatever. But if you just stack Call of Brine and Overcharge together, you're still getting like a combined like 200% regression between the two of them. So
it's still very good.
and that's at minimum. And so it's like, well, you didn't really you tapped it, you know. If you're going to attack the regression, you need to be really like go all in on that.
Yeah.
Because these are still going to be used constantly after this. It's not going to change things. I don't see it anyway.
But don't worry, Killer Mains. I can hear them already. Like, oh, I can't believe they've attacked my 3-gen perks. Ah, why is it always the killers that get attacked by behavior? Oh, they don't care about our fun. Well, Circle of Healing has been changed as well. So you can it no longer allows survivors to heal without a medkit inside the boon aura area. And a 50% healing speed bonus to healing other survivors. And you'll be able to see auras of injured survivors revealed to other survivors inside the boon. So they've changed it quite a little bit, but it's kind of killed that, right?
Yeah, congrats. You finally killed Circle of Healing. Even though it was already fine. I have no idea why they made this change.
I have a theory.
They already had the healing and medkit nerfs, and then they nerfed Circle of Healing, which was, like I said, was already in a good place before. I never heard anybody complain about it that was good at the game.
I have a theory. I think that this was an attempt to deal with the 3-gen situation where games are taking 45 minutes sometimes. I've heard people say that they've had games that take like an hour. And I
so by letting the survivors just lose?
Yes, they're speeding the game up. They're cutting out this long game because survivors can be so petty, John. Bloody survivor mains. They get so petty, they keep running to the other side of the map, they heal up, and then they come back to my 3-gen, which I've been protecting since the start of the game. I've got 2 hooks. I've been protecting my 3-gen, and they keep being so petty, John. They're so desperate for the escape. They can't just allow a killer to have a 4K. They can't allow it. So behaving done the right thing, and they've taken away healing. They've taken away Circle of Healing. They've got rid of Dead Hard. Perfect. Now I can finally enjoy the game the way I want to, staring at 3-gens and walking between them over and over again.
We should probably be like, hey, we're back. I don't know.
No,
perfect. Hey, we're back.
I think we're back. Are we? Is it recording? Am I live? Can you hear me?
We're back.
Okay, perfect.
Comcast.
Sorry, everybody. We had a quick. Well, okay. So there was like 2 hours in between what you just heard and now. So
yeah.
Suspension of disbelief. They had no idea before you said anything.
What happened was Doug and Gary got into a shouting match, and then they both stormed away from their computers, and it put me awkwardly in the middle. So then I had to send them DMs for like an hour and a half, begging them to come back. Yeah. Finally got them to make up, and here we are.
John,
no,
at us both.
Can I just tell him what really happened?
I did tell him what really happened.
I got really upset that I didn't have a matching shirt. And then I checked online, and there was a store 2 hours away that had the shirt. And then halfway there, they called me to say that they sold it, and I had to come back defeated. So, no matching shirt.
And then we had the argument.
Then we had the argument.
The argument happened.
And we're still not okay. So let's move on.
Well, I think the last thing that we had to talk about with the DBD patch, or the upcoming DBD patch, was the killer changes.
Yes, there's been some killer updates. Some of them are kind of boring. Some of them are kind of interesting. Mostly all sad. But
they are. Do we want to start with Hillbilly? Because he had the most substantial changes, right?
Yeah. From what I mean, I'm not an expert on Billy. I mean, this is going to be your wheelhouse, Doug, because you play Billy, you like Billy. But the Billy mains, I have noticed them all being less than pleased on Twitter.
Yeah. So
I think. Sorry, real quick. I think I saw Sofa Rex said like a "fuck you" behavior.
Yeah, Sofa like went full mauled, and I was there for it. It was a funny tweet.
Yeah.
And then conversely, there was other Billy mains who actually wrote out really well thought out, well intentioned posts being like, behavior, please don't do this. So essentially, what they did is they took the Doom engravings add-on and the Death engravings add-on, and you got the numbers, Gary, in front of you?
No, but do you want them?
Okay.
Let me find them.
I mean, it's really, I don't know if we're not much of a X's and O's kind of podcast anyways when we're like about feelings and whatnot. But yeah, basically they nerfed the only 2 add-ons on Billy that are really commonly used. And that's because with those add-ons, they increase your chainsaw movement speed, right? Out of the gate. So
Right.
Doom Engravings is 20% movement speed increase on the sprint. Death Engravings 15%. But what that also does is that changes like what angle you have to turn the saw at to get certain angles. Basically, those two add-ons create this like high risk, high reward play style for the billy, a curve billy. You curve out of the saw, and those engravings are going to adjust like how much you're able to curve and what structures you're able to curve around. And they've taken that away, and instead of just used it, so I think they just added to the reduction in overheat.
Well, I will say Behaviour actually haven't given the numbers yet of the readjustments, so it might not be as severe as we suspect.
Okay, but either way, it's another one of these short-sighted changes that really support the hypothesis that Behaviour doesn't really pay attention to what's actually happening in the game. They don't really play the game as much, and they just look at pick rates and numbers and say, well, a lot of people are using these, so we need to nerf them.
It is surprising that Billy, a character which most people like Billy because he's pretty rare, he's pretty exciting. I know, John, you hate Billy, but like generally Billy's a beloved character because he's fairly
Billy.
weak but quite exciting. It's weird that they decided to nerf two of the more popular add-ons rather than buff the ones that no one uses.
Yeah, and again, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go, Doug.
I was gonna say, so one of the arguments, one of the conversations that has been started, big time on DBD Twit, is that they're nerfing add-ons like Doom and Death Engravings on Billy, and they're completely not they're not touching like Alchemist Ring on Blight.
Right. Exactly.
Which is like an insane add-on. Like it's so busted in the compound in the same way, right?
Yeah.
I can't believe it's still in the game. Like, I mean, I can, but it's just like, I mean, when they're going in and they're like you said, nerfing the engravings, or they're buffing like a random add-on on Pig to make them crouch faster, and it's just like, guys, Alchemist Ring. How long has it been in the game?
Yeah, the pig one's like really underwhelming. Like, who cares? No one takes that add-on, and I don't know, just very strange to me.
So the hypothesis on DBD Twit, though, is that it's because the Blight has a lot of other really solid and strong add-ons. So not everybody is running Alchemist Ring in every game. So you've got someone at Behaviour with a spreadsheet in front of them. They're looking, and they're like, Alchemist Ring.
This is the problem. Why have they not got someone... What's their QA department like? Who's testing the game? What's the point of the... Do they not?
We are during the PTB.
No, but they don't do anything. What feedback are they listening to? Like who? I'm not totally in on who's like the community management side of things for that, but like who's paying attention to player reception to things at the moment? I don't get it. I don't get the decisions they make every time now. It gets frustrating. I mean, that's why everyone's like a bit frustrated with Behaviour like long term now, because it's like it doesn't feel like they listen or pay attention. They just, as you say, they're looking at an Excel spreadsheet and go, "Oh, let's change these."
Yeah, too many people are using these. Let's make them bad.
And it's like they toss a coin. Like, do they buff or nerf some?
It's like they're listening about half the time. Because I would say recently they made a few good changes. Like, I guess recently is more like 6 months ago now. But like they've made some changes that have been like, well, people have been asking for that, so good. They listened to us. And then they make other changes like this where I'm like, what is happening? Where's this coming from? So it's like it is like a coin flip. It's like half the time it's just like, okay, good, we wanted that. And then the other half it's like, who was asking for this? No one.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Who was asking
right?
for Pig's movement speed while crouched add-on to get buffed by like 4% or whatever it was?
Yeah, I mean, like it's a fun one. Like maybe I'll play that Pig now. I don't know. Like it's not an unwelcome thing, but
yeah, I mean,
so
it's
like
as you say, like Blight's there. Spirit's got some horrible add-ons.
Yeah, Mother
Ring.
Still fine.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a second.
So again, the pushback is substantial, which is understandable, right? I mean,
right.
Billy is this like beloved killer that's been in the game since launch that a lot of people enjoy going against. People think they like going against Billy. They wouldn't like going against Billy when he was good, but they like it now.
No.
And then there's some insane Billy players out there that are like, there's an entire Discord just dedicated to the Billy curve community with just like countless players that's all they play. They just play Billy and they just do curves and I don't know. They're just gonna they're gonna touch the one add-on that makes the killer go from like unplayable to playable to a fun killer with a high skill cap, a skill expression. Skill expression in DBD is not easy. It's not an easy thing for them to implement because of the way that the game works. And with Billy, he's like this one exception to that rule. There's this like high risk, high muscle memory, high reaction time, skill expression, play style available, and they're gonna nerf it. Yeah. For what and for why?
Same reason they took out Sky Billy.
But yeah, that was just fun. Can't have that.
Yeah, right. So, what's happening with the overheat mechanic again? Because they're revamping the overheat.
That's getting doled down quite a lot.
Yeah, they're getting doling it down a lot.
It's basically comparable to just removing it from how they phrase it. They make it sound like they're basically going to make it a non-factor, which is I think a lot of people have said, why have it?
Yeah, I think I think that the initial, again, they aren't like really transparent about talking about this, but I think the initial reason they added overheat was so you couldn't just camp the hook with the saw going and like, one tap somebody trying to unhook.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to force them to have to rev it up and down a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I think that now what they're doing is they're making it so, it's a lot harder to overheat it normally during a normal chase, but you'll still not be able to just keep your chainsaw going like in perpetuity. So I don't know. We'll get a chance to test it next week, and we'll talk about it next week on the podcast. I'll play Billy on the PTB and tell you guys what I think, but I just don't get it. It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, here's one that I do get. So,
wait. We forgot about thumbs.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, we didn't do the
thumb down.
I guess.
Yeah, down.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to the Billy community. Bad.
Yeah,
we're with you, Billy community. Yeah, we're with you.
But one that we might be able to agree with being a good thing, there is a negative to it, which is me being a filthy Survivor player. But Wraith is losing the light burn mechanic. So
that's good.
When Wraith goes around and he's in his transparent cloak mode, if a Survivor puts a flashlight towards him for a set amount of time, it will light burn him out of his invisibility and stun him. And that works amusingly with flashbangs. But that's going to go away now. Because whenever I go up against a Wraith and I've got my flashbang build, I just giggle to every time I hear like the bring, I'm like, drop it, and then I just leave.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh.
I mean, I really hate playing against Wraith as Survivor. I just think there's no fun to be had for me. It takes looping out of the game completely when I play against Wraith. But I completely am on the side of this being removed. I've always wondered, why is it still in the game? It's like it's like an artifact of a forgotten time when they were trying to add like unique interactions like that to killers. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't there a time when you need like a toolbox to remove trapper traps or something like that? Or
you could sabo the traps.
Yeah, you could break them forever.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, so there was a time like at the very beginning where they were adding unique interactions like that, but they haven't kept up with it. So it's like, well, why is it still here? So I think it's good that they removed it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I think it sucks too because like I think it's fun. Like it is a fun thing.
It is.
And then I think it's kind of a cool. I'm gonna be like a horror nerd here, but just like the idea of like using your flashlight to burn the ghost who's like, I just always thought that was kind of cool. Like it was like kind of almost like a lore.
As someone who likes playing Wraith, he's one of my favorite killers. I mean, I think one of my biggest comments I've had is Doug saying, "Gary, you're a good Wraith." I was like, "Oh, Doug."
Huge, yeah.
I don't mind the flashlight thing. I actually quite like dodging flashlights as Wraith. When survivors are trying to do it and I'm wasting their flashlight, it's pretty good. Like, can it be annoying? Yes. But can it be rewarding to like evade it? Yeah. I quite like it. So it's kind of a shame to see it go. But there is also another benefit to it being taken out. And I think we'll all agree that they needed to nerf the nurse. Oh no, buff the nurse, sorry. Buff the nurse. They had to buff the nurse, and that is the only change we're seeing to nurse with this this mid-chapter update, is she will no longer be able to be light burned either. Which, honestly, I've never seen her get light burned.
I got one. I was going to tell you guys the story. I got light burned as nurse a couple weeks ago. I had a daily.
What?
I had a daily to get a Mori on nurse, so I played nurse, and I got Garden of Joy, and like I was nurse, and I was like, oh my god, it's time for my villain era. I played that game like it was game 7 and there was an Applebee's gift card on the line. I was so sweaty. I was playing nurse, right? And I was like slugging people and I was like tunneling off hook. I just wanted to make them suffer because Garden of Joy, and it was an offering. They made me go there, and I'm like, oh, you guys picked the wrong killer to use that map offering on. But they had a cracked ace, of course, who was able to, and he kept light burning me. And it was so funny because I was like, man, what a shame that you're light burning me in this game that you absolutely cannot win, because I'm still the nurse, and at the end of the day, I'm still going to win no matter what forever because I'm nurse. And I did. I won forever because I was nurse. But the light burns were pretty funny. I was like, oh, good.
Yeah, I've never seen it. But
I knew it was theoretically possible, but I haven't seen it myself.
They're more rare than the locker blinds were. The locker saves and all that stuff. Like they're super rare. The timing is insane. It's like, again, it's another skill expression in DBD, and they tend to remove those. So
that's what I find fascinating. Like, so in a world where Billy's getting some of his more fun add-ons nerfed, Nurse, a killer that everyone hates, even now, even after her change, everyone still hates her because she's the most powerful killer in the game. She's staying the same. I don't get it. I don't understand behavior.
They already fixed Nurse. They fixed her last time. She's totally fine now. She's a B tier killer at best.
There's another.
What's so confusing?
There's another unpopular killer that's having an adjustment as well with the flashlight blind scenario. Everyone's favorite killer, the Hag. No one likes Hag here.
No, I have a suggestion for a Hag change. Right?
I think it's the same one.
No, you go first.
Okay, remove her from the game.
Oh no, you can't remove it. You need to punish the people that play her.
Oh, okay.
So what happens is if you can chain blind the Hag 3 times in a row, the Hag just dies, and the trial is over, and you all instantly escape. So
you can kill the Hag.
She just dies. Yeah, the light gets to be too much, head explodes, and you just win.
You have to repurchase.
There should be a Survivor Mori where you like stuff flashlights in her mouth until she explodes with light or something.
Now we're getting somewhere, Wolf.
The
now
flashlights
we're somewhere.
Light her face up like a jack-o'-lantern.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
That's exactly the visual I had.
But no, that's not what they're doing, unfortunately. What they're doing is making it so flashlights are no longer what you use to get rid of her traps and disarm her phantasm traps. Instead, you will sneak up to them as a survivor and disable them. By the sounds of things, very similar to how you do Trapper. So she's going to become Trapper.
You just smudge out her traps and they go away.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's honestly a good change. They're going to nerf Hag.
Oh, she'll be miserable. She won't be fun to play anymore. She'll be bad.
Fun to play.
Well, fun to win with because she wins now. And then
you're not fun to play as, is she?
Yeah, my bad. I misspoke.
A positive from this is that Hag mains might stop bringing Franklins if they don't have to worry about flashlights like that.
That's true.
Fingers crossed.
At this point,
could be
I don't think you'll see anyone playing Hag.
Depending on what time you're playing, Franklin steals base kit anyways on every killer. Like so many people run Franklins now. I mean, I guess
what item are you scared of losing, John?
I was just gonna say, yeah. I was gonna say the same thing. I was like, with all these item passes they're doing, pretty soon Franklin's no one will run it because they'll be like, I don't fucking care if they have items. I'm good. All the items suck, so we're fine.
The only time I get annoyed at Franklin's when I'm running flashbangs, I'm like, damn it, I've got to go pick that up somewhere, and I can't see them. For love nor money, I can't find them again.
At least you can make more of them. Franklin's is like a pain point for me because it's like even if you get back to the item, it loses charges so fast now. It's like, you might as well just leave it.
Oh, yeah. That's my strategy. When they have Franklin's and I get that first hit, I'm just like, whoop, I'm not using my item anymore. I give up.
Exactly, yeah.
Because you're either going to get yourself caught trying to get your item back or you're going to get it back without enough charges to even do anything. So
yeah, and you're going to waste time.
You win, killer. You can have my item.
Fine, you can have it. It means that much to you. Yeah,
but yeah, there's going to be some other changes to other killers which are less interesting, like Oni and stuff. But those are the main ones that stood out to me.
It's like a Freddy add-on or something. I my eyes glazed over when I read it, and I completely forgot what happened.
Yeah,
I went to like a fugue state.
I didn't even add it to my notes. I was like, it's not worth talking about.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
No offense, Freddy.
I feel like the two big change, like the healing changes, is the one that's going to affect everyone, and it's the one that's like really really relevant, and the one that makes the least amount of sense to me, given the disgruntled player base on the Survivor side right now, which is, again, as a killer main, I'm saying, is super understandable. And then the change to Scourge Pain Res, right? While also somewhat nerfing Gen Kick, but like the Gen Kick perks, like those are the 2 points of this patch, I think, because they're the ones that are really going to impact the meta of the game. Changes to a Death Slinger teachable, right, are not going to make that big of a difference. Changes to the Wraith getting burned is like, okay, whatever, but like how many Wraiths do you face in a session, right? How many Wraiths are being played?
I think my issue at the moment is they're not fixing the design problem. They're just changing variable numbers, and it's a lazy fix. It's plastering like a bigger issue. Because the 3-gen thing, because they've designed 2 new killers, which are heavily on 3-gens, which has encouraged a lot of people to realize that 3-gen's the way to go. That's going to stay even after this goes forward. Like, the gen kicking nerf is not going to change the 3-gen situation because it's a design problem. You either have to completely gut the numbers for kicking gens and that, or you have to address the design problem, and they're just doing numbers, which isn't... It's not good, because as Doug keeps saying, like, the player's base is disgruntled, especially survivors. Solo queue is you think it'd be better than ever because of the new UI stuff, but it's so miserable.
You remember how upset killers were about the UI? Wow, it's really helping us. It's really helping survivors out a lot.
Yeah. Now you find yourself in a 3-gen situation. Every time you get chased off a gen, you go, oh, none of my teammates are doing a gen either. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. I literally look at the HUD. I make jokes about, like, I haven't seen the generator icon on my HUD the entire game, so I don't know what they're up to.
Yeah, this the whole 3-gen thing. It's like, it's part of the problem right now is like a lot of the issues I feel like can be reduced down to like stackables. And it's like, yeah, they nerfed Call of Brian Overcharge, but if you run them together, you're still getting like an assload of regression. It's like they make healing take longer. And it's like, well, great. Now with Thanophobia and Sloppy Butcher, and God forbid they bring Cholorophobia, like it's going to take so much, because it just stacks. All the problems just stack on top of each other. Yeah. And it's like they're not addressing that part of their design at all when they're tackling the numbers like itty bitty bits at a time like this.
Yep. And I wonder if that's why they're speeding up, like they're changing the meta more frequently, because like the meta was like stayed static for a long time. And now recently it feels like, well, maybe they've just listened to you, Doug, and they're like, let's take some risks. Let's keep mixing up the meta. But I suspect that they're changing the meta in a way which is very easy for them to do. So even though the game is getting increasingly stale, if they just change things frequently enough, it keeps the stale, like they're kicking the can down the road. But as the result, the game's getting messier and messier. And I'll use Dead Hard as the example of a perk that, for me, is just a mess now. Just a mess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and Pain Res. Pain Res is a mess. That's a mess of a perk now. Tokens?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw really, I don't remember who it was. I would credit them. I promise you I would if I can remember who it was. But there was somebody who was prominent in the DVD community who tweeted, changing around 4 to 6 perks that are used in every game is not shifting the meta. Like they're just, all they're doing is just, they're going to create a new meta. Now the new meta on killer, like John mentioned, Thana, Sloppy, Chorophobia, Distressing, like it's just going to turn into a different meta until they start buffing the 50 perks that no one uses ever. It's not going to change any meta, because right now everybody's just going to put themselves into whatever meta gives them the best chance to win the game.
The trouble is though, to that point, do you remember when they buffed Boil Over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then everyone whined and they immediately went, okay, no, it's useless again, don't worry. It's back in the useless pile. Crack on with the perks you're already using. Because people don't like other perks being strong is the trouble. The player base is so unhappy no matter what. That, like, to an extent, they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. So they're kind of trapped, only affecting the few perks we'll use. Because as soon as they try and buff something different, and there is a new meta where, 1 in every 8 survivors might try Boil Over. Oh, wow.
Well, and also we saw exactly what you're talking about with Eruption too, right? They were like, cool, man, let's give Eruption a little tweak here. And then it became like the most reviled perk in the game. So
yeah,
maybe they're getting like negative reinforcement when they try and do stuff like take a bad perk and make it good. Yeah.
But in fairness, though, they didn't really think that one through because they didn't really question how fun is it going to be incapacitated. How good is it to not be able to play the game for 25 seconds?
I don't know. I couldn't play for 2 weeks, and I felt pretty good.
You're right. Eruption's like 25 seconds of bliss.
25 seconds of foon.
I genuinely missed the game when I was on my break. Well, this is funny. I could not make that joke.
I think I missed DBD. But then we have these, we discuss the situation. I'm like, do I just miss the idea of DBD? Do I just miss DBD when Pyramid Head came out? Since we spoke about that tier list, I'm like, that was the golden age. Is everything just trying to recapture that moment?
I've been logging into DBD whenever I'm like, I miss DBD. I've just been logging in and playing like just a couple bot matches and then logging off. And just being like, that was kind of fun to get a taste of it. And then I log off. And that's been keeping me going. Instead of playing all the pubs.
Is it like weaning off smoking or something?
Yeah, it's like weaning off, I guess.
I don't know. I've been having fun. I've been having enough fun. Killer is always fun because
well, you're in charge of the fun when you play.
You set the tone. You set the tone and the pace of the match, so that's fun. And then when I play Survivor, I mean, Survivor's still pretty chill for me. I just expect to die a lot. I've switched my build up though. I was running kind of a gen focused build. Now I'm running a build that's more focused on escaping and chase focus. I'm back with running like windows and just trying to take a chase and see how many gens my teammates will do when I can run them for as long as possible. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that like, it's just so hard you have to like detach yourself so much from the actual game to have fun with. Like, it's just like when you go in like expecting to just die in a miserable 3-gen. So you say like, well, let's see how long I can take them on chase. Like having to find your own fun that way, it feels pretty bad, I think.
Oh, that is like, because I just bring head on flashbang. I don't try to win. I don't care. Like, if I can get 1 or 2 head-ons and a few flashbangs, a pallet's done, I'll count that as a W. Because that's...
But when we play prop night, we don't go into prop night being like, well, I'm just going to try and do this and that and see if it's fun or not. Like, you know what I mean? We just go in and play the game, and the game itself is... The game as designed is fun to play.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not like...
But, I mean, I think we've had this discussion before. I think you've used this argument as me, but maybe we've just played too much DBD.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's like prop night is fresh.
Yeah, if we get 1,000 hours into prop night, maybe we'll start to be like, maybe not this game either. Fantastic doesn't know what they're doing either. Yeah,
get them.
Well, there is things that I want to discuss with prop night, but I want to play more of it in the week, and then we can do it next week maybe. Oh no, next week's tier list.
Did you do? Oh, we haven't decided that, but it is episode 25 coming up.
We are due a Q&A session as well. We haven't.
You know what? That might be the special one.
Yeah, because we've got a lot of questions in the Discord server, which you haven't joined already. And we haven't answered any of them yet, so I'd quite like to get through them.
I think we answered like one early on, but
I've answered
we could do that next week.
It
could just be like a full Q&A.
There's some talk. I want to talk about prop night.
I mean, yeah.
Talk about it now.
Talk about prop night? We can
talk about it now. Just go.
Yeah. Go. We dare you.
It's only like 4 a.m. in the UK, right? You're fine. Stay up forever.
3:15. It's fine. No, I played it on stream the other day, and Doug, you joined me eventually. Me, you, and Masha and Sino played a little bit, and I really enjoyed prop night. I thought it was very fun. I even enjoyed playing Killer, although Killer needs a buff. Like anyone who is a killer main in DBD and just complains about survivors bullying them, go play prop night.
Oh yeah, you have no idea.
Go play prop night for a bit, because fucking hell, they've got MMR in that game, but I don't know, it's just not a perfect system. It's never going to be, is it? So I'm sitting there as my my silver 4 rank, and it put me against borders that I don't know what they mean. I assume like they were above diamond. There was one diamond. I was like, I get that one. The one above it, I don't know what it's called in this game, Grandmaster, whatever. But it was very colourful, and they beat the shit into me. I got one chair. It was a punish. And then when they opened the doors, they lingered as long as they could. They stuck around bonking me. I was just like, go on, get out. They was like, no. And they keep hitting me and fighting. I found it funny, but I imagine after, a few matches like that, I'd be like, okay, I'm done with this. I got bored of playing Killer.
Yeah.
So I really do hope they buff Killer in that. But that was an experience.
Yeah,
Very
Killer is
fun, though.
tough. I'll agree with what you said too, that you pulled me in to play with you on stream the other day, and like you remember what I did after, like for like an hour or two after you ended stream, Masha and I kept playing and just like hanging out in Discord, like just beating up on killers with our fart emojis and whatnot. It's a fun little game. And yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, I'm ready. Oh no, go.
I do think you're right about game balance. I think that I haven't played a lot of Killer in a few months, but the last time I played Killer, same thing was happening to me. I would get in against like borders I don't recognize, against people with, symbol names, and they would just relentlessly beat on me. But I think with some time and practice, I could probably get pretty good at it. I might put some time into Killer on that game. And
I like one of the matches I cleaned up quite well on. I got like a 3 or 4K, and it was really satisfying to like snowball and start to like build up that. Like I enjoyed it quite a lot, and I love the map designs. The maps feel so much better now. Like going around them, they felt great. Yeah,
we talk about Fantastic and the way they do business, and I wish that maybe Behavior would do this. They make like little changes to their maps all the time. So they'll just take like the circus map. They like moved a structure in the middle of like the big circle, so that you have something you can juke around as a survivor, and you can lose the killer there. It's like a little subtle change that they made, but they didn't tout it as a major. They just were like, oh, we just added some stuff to this map. Like they do that kind of stuff all the time. I wish Behavior could do the same thing with the DBD maps and just make little tweaks to the map here and there.
I imagine it's tougher for them though because of the console element. But
yeah, you're right.
But no, I think Fantastic are doing a fantastic job. Like, I really enjoyed playing Prop Night, and chat enjoyed it. It was nice.
Yeah,
nice.
So that I just wanted to just
Gary's Prop Night story time.
Yeah, I'm just happy with the game. I think they're doing really well.
Yeah, I definitely want to play some more and like level up some characters and stuff, because played the game plenty, but I don't have anybody that I've like progressed very far up the path or anything.
Yeah, that would be a complaint I would have actually, is that some of that takes a little too long. I think it takes a long time. I've played that game a lot, and I think my highest level survivor is like 5 and 10 is the max.
Yeah, really.
I did notice that, because obviously they reworked. I think Granny. I noticed we went against a high level Granny, and they were able to put a knife that kind of floats around again still. So I'm guessing they get more powers they unlock, or I just completely misunderstood how to do it. But yeah, so I think you have to unlock new abilities now, which is cool. I like that there's a progression system, but it does feel like it's quite a slug to get through it.
Yeah,
and the whole loot box system, saving up 100 coins, then it's like you got a sticker. It's like, oh, okay. Well,
yeah, I'm saving up to buy the characters at the moment.
Sucked.
Same, yeah.
yeah.
But it's like the game's not perfect, but it's nice to have like a little ray of sunshine in the asymmetrical world at the moment when we're waiting for Texas Chainsaw and Killer Clowns has kind of just vanished for the time being, but hopefully on the horizon any day now we'll hear something. But it's nice to have something that I can still turn to and go, I'm going to play some Prop Night.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was our go-to off stream the other day, is just jump into some Prop Night matches. So.
Yeah.
What were you saying, John?
No, it's good to have like an asym horror game that you can turn to as like a relief, from the rest of them.
And come on, Puppet Master.
No,
you next.
You can do it, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoyed it. I've enjoyed playing Puppet Master.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun with you guys. I don't think I had solo queue in that game.
But you haven't put any hours in off. You haven't been grinding up, burning the midnight oil, and you're like, sorry, Resident Evil 4 remake, gotta play some Puppet Master.
Oh, but Resident Evil 4 remake. We'll talk about that when I'm all done with it, and when Gary's all done with it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm done.
And when I'm all done with it, I'm starting tomorrow.
Oh, awesome. Okay,
I'm doing it for YouTube, man. I'm going in.
Oh, nice. Have you played any other Resident Evil games? I can't remember.
Yeah, I played 0 through 3, and I played 5, and I just missed 4.
Okay, cool. Nice.
I'm really excited about it, actually.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it, hopefully. It's a really good game. I'm not halfway through with it yet, so I'm taking my time.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm looking forward to playing more of it on Monday.
I didn't like
That's the worst thing. That's the worst thing about playing it on Friday. Then I have to wait the weekend until I stream again.
I didn't like watching Gary play it because he's using that DLC skin that makes Leon look like Vittorio from DBD.
No. He looks like a young Geralt of Rivia.
I told you we're not talking about Star Trek on the podcast anymore. Gary. All right, this is horror asym. All right, not science fiction.
True.
Not science fiction.
Yeah.
Pinheads.
No spaceships here.
Yeah. Nerd.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for season 24 of Spine Chill. Our best season yet.
Best ever,
We've knocked it out of the park.
Number one.
That's a good thing we cut out that 2 hours where you guys were fighting. That was really
Yeah,
awesome.
I was just going to say, Gary, we need to get in a call after this and hammer things out. Cause...
Yeah, I think we should probably discuss the issues. I mean, I think it's a good time to do it at 3:20 in the morning for me. I've got half a beer to finish off, so.
Oh, my God.
Sounds good.
Keeps banging on about how late it is over there. We get it. Anyway, thanks for tuning in.
and now John and Gary have beef. So all right,
now we'll have a little chat after. It's going to be a lot to unpackage.
The foundation is crumbling, people. But please, if we're back next week, check us out. We're going to be doing a Q&A episode.
We'll do a Q&A.
Check us out.
Yeah, we'll have to go back to the beginning, look at like 2-3 months ago, and see what was listed there. But we'll do it.
Can't wait.
Thank you both for listening, especially our fans in Romania. Hugs and kisses, and we'll see you guys next week. I'm signing off. I'm one of your co-hosts, Sean Wolfe. What?
Just never heard you like hugs and kisses.
I do it for the special fans in Romania.
I felt uncomfortable, but we'll talk about that after. Okay, so after we'll talk about that too.
Listen, they get it, okay? The fans in Romania understand what I was saying there, and they appreciate it. Anyway, signing off. It's me, one of your co-hosts, John Wolfe, here with one of my other co-hosts. Although, who knows for how much longer with how he's been talking to me.
No.
Hugs and kisses!
And our 25-time recurring guest, Doug Running Man.
I'm not going to say hugs and kisses.
Oh.
Come on, say hugs and kisses.
No, do it. Go on, do it.
Hugs and kisses.
Oh, go on, you can do it better.
No, I'm not. I was.
Come on, Doug. Come on.
They'll take it.
Absolutely not. You're lucky I did it at all. All right. I don't.
Yeah.
You
they'll
can do
take it. They're happy.
You can do it.
Thanks, John,
to me
for
in
understanding.
our private DM.
I end every call with Gary with hugs and kisses. He knows.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.